Walk us through what we know so far about what Trump's going to announce, is likely to announce. What are his options at this point?
Yeah, Tom, Donald Trump's going to have a press conference at some point tomorrow. The White House hasn't announced the time yet, but I'm expecting it sometime during the U.S. day when, obviously, when markets are closed in Asia, but possibly when people in Asia are asleep. So you might be sitting there waking up tomorrow figuring out what happened. There is a large range of options here. You know, Mike Pompeo said that Wednesday that Hong Kong had effectively lost its autonomy, no longer warrants special treatment under U.S. law. But that declaration just opens the door for Trump to impose penalties, and they range for quite a big deal. They range from like modest sanctions to try and curb China, all the way to revoking Hong Kong's special trading status with the U.S. Now, that's sort of the nuclear option there, because Hong Kong, as you know, but maybe viewers might not fully appreciate, Hong Kong has this really special carve-out from the rest of China and the U.S. rule. It's very well, it's considered basically completely separate. And so things that affect China don't affect Hong Kong. Things that affect Hong Kong don't affect China. And if you change that in any material way, then a lot of the things that Hong Kong does that are built on that special status no longer operate the way that they had. And so a lot of Hong Kong is kind of constructed to take advantage of carve-outs that people have like that. If those carve-outs go away in the international order, and obviously the U.S. is sort of the largest factor in this, if those carve-outs go away, then the point of Hong Kong is really different.
Derek, this is David. I like how you used the term or nuclear option when it came to this, because in a lot of ways, the fallout, I guess, you know, in trying to help Hong Kong, you eventually also hurt Hong Kong by taking that away. Now, the broader trade conversation, really, you know, the phase one trade deal, we heard out of the NPC, in fact, I think it was just last week, that China's committed to keeping its commitments there. But now that we're here, does that put all of that at risk? And can we even talk about phase two?
You know, David, I think that we've seen comments from the U.S. that they're not interested in changing on the phase one. They're still hopeful that that goes ahead. And all of the commentary that we've seen seems to suggest that phase one is continuing. We really haven't heard that specifically threatened. But I think in terms of phase two, it's really hard to hit with a stick in one hand and hold out a carrot with the other hand. Already there was a lot of skepticism that there was going to be anything material happening on phase two before the November election. I think that this only increases that skepticism. It would take a lot of change to see any meaningful action on a phase two from here, but it's not necessarily blowing up that pause. You know, the U.S. really does consider Hong Kong a bit of a separate issue from some other things. You know, I always feel like I'm trying to explain that the U.S. things don't always run on the same track lines, and this is kind of one of those things. But to the extent that the U.S. feels like it's trying to pressure China and it's not getting anywhere, does it start considering other levers? I mean, you can't rule any of those things out, can you?